Well, he's a friend of the herd, and he's led the T-Wolves to 4 straight playoff appearances. They not only beat the Lakers, they pushed them around, out-coached them, outplayed them, had so much more dexterity offensively, a very impressive series, and now a totally different team, although they are a little long in the tooth, but it's the Warriors, and Chris Finch, the head coach, is now joining us. So it's weird because I once again feel like the Warriors are going to play a bigger, deeper team. The difference is your bigs are old guys that have been around the block, and Houston is a much younger team, and I think they took advantage of their youth. How much do you even take from that Houston Warriors series? I mean, do you look at it and just go, we're just a different team?
Yeah, I think we start there. I do think we are a different team. We have a different defensive philosophy. Of course, there's always things you can learn when you watch a series, and that series was very intriguing, very fascinating to watch. I mean, it was extremely physical. I thought at the times it bordered on out of control. But, given the amount of physicality that they're allowing in the playoffs, I think you can see the impact that it does have on a high-functioning offense like Golden State. You're going to have to be physical with them. You got to try to be disruptive and slow them down. But every team is built differently, and every team has to play to their strengths. And what Houston was able to do may not be exactly what we're able to accomplish at a high level. So
you have voiced concerns. You and Steve Kerr have both said, this thing's out of control. It's physical. Yet that physicality was very disruptive to the Lakers. So as a coach, what do you look at and say to yourself, Chris, okay, that's out of control? Because J-Mac and I argue about this all the time. I love physical basketball. He's a finesse guy over there jacking up threes. What do you look at and go, okay, refs, timeout, guys, get over here. That can't go.
Yeah, I think to be clear, Colin, I think every coach in the NBA would, welcomes in physicality, actually embraces it. I think we all love physical basketball. I don't think that's what, Steve or I are saying. I think what we're saying is like it seems at times out of context, and in the first round of games, it seemed out of context where it was actually affecting the basketball that was able to be played.
Right.
It didn't feel like, hey, we're just going to allow you to be more physical. While that was certainly going on, what it felt like is that they just decided to not call some amount of fouls.
Right.
And that's different. That is what leaves players and coaches frustrated. That's what leads to kind of things getting slightly out of control, if not completely out of control.
So I had said on the air, I theorized, I said when J.J. Redick with an older LeBron and Luka and Austin Reeves, he was struggling, when he decided to play his starters, whether you agree with it or not, I said, I bet you Finch and his staff said, hey, let's just go bigger. We're going to go bigger with Rudy Gobert. Did that game and his decision, I mean, this whole series is all you guys are changing things, but it did feel like you came in with even a different game plan the next game after that Game 4 decision. Was that part of it?
Well, we've always leaned into being a big team. And when you have, historically we've had, Karl Anthony Towns, or you have Rudy Gobert, or you have Julius Randle and Naz Reid, 6th man of the year. Like, these are some of your best players. And, you're not just going to take them off the floor because somebody goes small. You have to find a way to maximize who you are and lean into those strengths. Yeah, there's going to be times where you get a little bit exposed for it, but we've preached to Rudy ever since he got here that, we need to be highly flexible with the things we're going to ask you to do through the regular season. So when it comes to the playoffs, you can't be marginalized by teams just going small. And, in that series, Rudy just stayed patient. When they made some adjustments, that allowed him to have the big Game 4. And he did a great job of just staying focused and calm and remaining a part of that series, even though at times, he wasn't as impactful as he certainly was in that Game 5.
So when you made the Julius Randle move, I didn't love it. I said he's not a great postseason player. I don't know if he fits. And then I didn't even like it when I watched it early in the year. I'm like, I'm not sure if this works. And then all of a sudden I watch him late in the year, and I watch him against the Lakers. I'm like, who's this? When did you know? And it's okay to admit that this league's a fit league with very few exceptions. When did you know, okay, this is going to work? He's found his way with this offense and his touches.
Yeah, we started to figure it out in mid to late December. That's when I started to see what we could possibly become, particularly with Julius. And to be fair to Julius, at times we've asked him to do different things, and he's done that. It may not have been the right thing. I told him early on, we need you to score. I thought that's what we were going to need. And what we really needed was just more of his all-around game, his playmaking and his scoring. But when he started to kind of play make for his teammates and be a point forward for us, I always point to a game in December we played at Madison Square Garden. We played the Knicks. It was as a return home game. You can imagine how emotionally charged that's going to be for him personally. I think he took 3 or 4 shots, Colin, but he just played an incredible all-around game, whether it be defense, rebounding, creating pace, creating for his teammates with the pass, just doing all the little things. And to me, that was the moment, and I'll always point to that as kind of our team growing up around Julius, and Julius realizing, like, this is what we need to win. We won that night. We won on Christmas Day, which was another big game for us, and we had been starting to play a little bit better, and he had a monster game on Christmas Day, both scoring and creating. So it's been an evolution. All these things always are. It's not always the player's fault. I was extremely happy and proud that he played so well in the Lakers series, because he has had some unfair criticism of his playoff performances. In those early Knicks teams, he didn't have a lot of help, let's say. So it's easy to game plan a guy out if he's really the only and dominant scorer. So it gets hard for some of those guys at some point in time. So I know he was focused on having a great playoffs. He did so far. He's gotten off to a really good start, and we just love him. We love what he's brought here with his toughness, his physicality. He gave us a perfect LeBron matchup in a lot of ways, which is what we needed. So he was huge.
So you guys didn't play the Warriors very well. You played them before the Jimmy Butler trade, but I remember one game in particular that, Curry's running around crazy, and sometimes Ant or whoever's guarding him just get lost. He's running through screens. He's running all over the floor. And some of your guys are just like, if you don't pay attention to Steph Curry, he's in another continent. He's on the other side of the floor. What do you do? Like Houston said, okay, we're going to double the minute you get over half court, but then Buddy Hield's wide open, and Buddy can shoot. Yeah. By the way, now Pods now is shooting with more confidence than he was 35, 40 games ago. So, I mean, what do you do? What do you do with Curry? Like, you chase him all over the floor, or is there a reality that he's going to get his, and he's going to, you just can't chase him nonstop?
Well, first of all credit to Houston. They did one of the best jobs I've seen at actually trying to take and succeed in some instances in games, taking him, kind of out of the game. And that's very hard to do with any great player. Great players impact the game through a multitude of ways. It's not just their scoring, but it's also their gravity, their playmaking.
Right.
Their ability to distort your defense and just force you to make mistakes that you wouldn't normally make. I think, Steph does all of that, and he does it with the constant energy and motion that you just referred to. It's not real, when you're guarding Steph that you have to be on high alert, and that you got to put the work in. That's just 1/3 of the battle. The other 2/3 is just the continual nature, the locking in that, as he moves around the floor and somebody else might now have to pick him up, they've got to now assume that level of focus and concentration. And that's not where we've been at our best. And, you also know with him, you're going to have to live with some tough shots. He's an incredible player. He's going to make tough shots, and you can't be defeated mentally by that. You got to come back down the next time and be able to chase him all over the place again.
Chris Finch, series starts tomorrow, held the Lakers under 100 points in 3 of 5 games, pushed them around. good luck pushing Draymond Green around. He is a handful. Chris, as always, great seeing you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
You bet.